When I first heard Jim Rohn speak over 30 years ago, he said something which has always stuck with me. He said, it's important to learn the fundamentals of life, that in life there are certain principles that just don't change over the decades, over the centuries. They've always been the same. Whether you're talking back in the medieval ages or whether you're talking 2022, the fundamentals have not changed. And in this video, I want to share with you the 3 fundamentals Jim Rohn shared with me that impacted me then and continue to impact me today. G'day and welcome to Becoming More. My mentor Jim Rohn advised me that if I wanted to have more in life, I needed to become more. And so on this channel, I share with you the philosophies and the strategies that Mr. Rohn has shared with me. By consistently applying those strategies and philosophies in both my personal and business life, I've been able to lead a life on my terms, and I truly wish the same for you. So, what are those 3 fundamentals that Mr. Rohn shared with me that still have an impact on me today? Well, the first one is this: go the extra mile in everything you do. Mr. Rohn said, if you are not willing to risk the unusual, you must be prepared to settle for the ordinary. And that is just so true. The reason I believe so many people never really realize their dreams, realize their goals, never really step up from above average is they're not prepared to risk the unusual. You've got to be prepared to take risks. And so that's the first lesson I would take from that basic fundamental. Take risks in your life. I took my first risk at age 24. I went into business. I remember the day we opened, I could hardly speak. I was that nervous. But here's what debt does for you. Here's what borrowing money does for you. It pushes you to be more than average. It pushes you to be unusual. And the only way you can do that is to take risks. I know it sounds uncomfortable, and I'm not saying put your house, put everything else at risk, put your health at risk. I'm not saying that. Take calculated risks. Weigh up the pros, weigh up the cons, and if you can deal with the cons of taking a risk, then hey, why not have a go? The second thing I would say is go the extra mile in your relationships with the people you love, your friends, your family. Go the extra mile. Don't be average. If you buy your partner some roses, then put a handwritten note with it. Tell them that you appreciate them, the things that they do for you. Go the extra mile with your relationships. And thirdly, I would say when it comes to going the extra mile, go the extra mile in your work and your professional life. Go the extra mile with your work colleagues, with your clients if you're in business. Zig Ziglar once said, if you go the extra mile, you really will be on your own because there's very few people on it. And you really do stick out from the crowd. You really are not average when you go the extra mile. So that was the first fundamental Mr. Rohn taught me. Go the extra mile. Don't be average. Risk the unusual. The second fundamental that I think he shared with me was to be grateful for everything you have. Mr. Rohn was a very keen goal setter. He did a lot of goal setting workshops, and he was always talking about setting goals for the future. But here's what he also said. He said, be grateful for what you have while you pursue what it is you want. And often I found in my earlier years, I forgot the first part of that phrase. I was always thinking, I'll be happy when. I'll be a lot happier with everything when this happens, when that happens. And it was only in my later years that I revisited this phrase, and I came to realize that it's important to be happy with what you have while you pursue what you want. So what should we be grateful for? Well, there are so many things, and I actually write in my gratitude journal 3 things for which I'm grateful every day when I get up. And I find it just gets my day off to a great start. Number 1, just be thankful for the fact that you've seen another day. I often walk into a shop and people say, as they always do, hey, how are you? How's it going? And I always say, fantastic. Or I am exceptionally well. Now, number 1, people laugh. Number 2, they normally say, oh, well, why is that? And I say, because this morning I got out of bed and 37,000 people around the world did not. And so, hey, I'm having a fantastic day. I got to see another 24 hours. So often the very first thing I'll put in my gratitude journal is, number one, I'm grateful for seeing another 24 hours. I'm grateful for the ability to make a difference. Be grateful just for being able to show up. Be grateful for actually being able to watch this video. Number two, I'd say be grateful for where you live. Now, I don't know where you're watching this video, but most people I know from my analytics live in first world countries. They have the ability to choose where they live. They have the ability to choose their politicians and who governs them. That is a right you don't want to take lightly. It always amazes me in the US that voting is, it's not compulsory. You can either go or you cannot go. Here in Australia, voting is compulsory, and I think that's a great thing. Don't take that vote for granted. You actually can dictate your future, your government, where your country is going in the future. So be grateful for where you live, and hopefully, as you're watching this video, you live in a country that gives you that opportunity and has those freedoms. And the third thing I would say is, don't take the people in your life for granted. It is so easy to take our relationships for granted until one day they're no longer there. It's always heartbreaking on the news to see people losing loved ones in accidents or to sickness. You don't want to be in the situation where you say, I wish I had told so-and-so how much they really meant to me. Mr. Rohn always said, say it when the emotion hits you, don't wait. If you think that your partner or someone's done something nice for you, you appreciate what they've done, let them know. Don't say, I'll get round to it at some time, I'll send them an email, I'll send them a thank you note. No, do it right there and then. The other day I was at golf, and Shane made me a really good cup of coffee, and on the way out I said to Shane, thanks for that. That was a great cup of coffee, and he gave me a big smile. Everybody wants to feel important. Everybody wants to feel appreciated. Don't regret not saying it. Say it when the emotion hits you. And the third fundamental I would share with you is the D word. And unfortunately, I know it's not going to go down too well, but it is the fundamental that Mr. Rohn really hammered into me. And that word, of course, is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your achievements. If there's no discipline, your goals simply become dreams. They become a faint hope. You need the discipline to get you where you want to go. Probably one of Mr. Rohn's most famous sayings is this: we must all suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And I actually only used that very phrase this morning with somebody on my team who was lacking a little bit of discipline. So where should we be disciplined? Well, number one, without a doubt, it's in your health. Mr. Rohn used to say, treat your body like a temple, not like a woodshed, but like a temple. Watch what you put into your mouth every day. Make sure you exercise. I mean, I know these things are boring and we hear these things all the time, but there's a reason why we do. You don't see too many obese people in their 90s. You just don't get to that age if you don't look after your body. So, number one, be disciplined in what you eat. Don't be a monk about it. Don't be stupid about it, but be disciplined. Number two, be disciplined with your finances. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about money here. However, if you do want to have a look at my other video on planning your financial future, I'll put a link to it below. But be disciplined with your finances. Zig Ziglar used to say, money isn't everything, but it is right up there with oxygen. So I would say your finances and your health, they're the two areas you have to be disciplined in. I often say to people, how much are you spending on this? And they go, I don't know. How many times have you heard people say, I don't know where it all goes? You've got to know. Ignorance is not bliss when it comes to your finances. You have to know. You've got to put a budget together and you've got to track, are you on track or off track with your budget? What do you need to do to get back on track? And the third area where I would say you need to be disciplined is in your commitments. If you say you're going to do something, do it. People admire, people respect people who walk their talk. I find nothing more annoying than making an appointment with someone and those people then showing up late. If you say you're going to be there at 10 o'clock, be there at 10 o'clock. Better still, be there at 5 minutes to 10, but don't be there at 5 past 10 past 10. Or if for some reason you're going to be late, do the right thing. Get on the phone, let people know that you're going to be late, that you're running behind. They really do respect it. It really does lift you up above being average. If you found this video useful, please like it and consider subscribing. I've got quite a number of videos coming down the line in the next few weeks on the fundamentals that Mr. Rohn shared with me. So let's recap on those 3 fundamentals that Mr. Rohn shared with me. Number 1, go the extra mile. Don't do what everybody else does. You'll get the results that everybody else gets, and that's just average, and you really don't want to be there. Number 2, be grateful every day. Be grateful for your health, for where you live, the freedoms you enjoy, the people in your life. Don't take those things for granted. It is so easy to take those things for granted. I cannot believe how much people are whinging and whining these days when only 2 years ago they were in lockdown. They weren't going anywhere. Now people can complain about transport, the roads. It just staggers me that it's how easily we forget how our freedoms were taken away for a couple of years. And the third one is discipline. Be disciplined in everything you do. Be especially disciplined in your health, in your finances, and be disciplined in your commitments with other people. Now, if you enjoyed that video, I know you will enjoy the video on the richest man in Babylon, the very first book that Jim Rohn ever recommended to me. And that video is available right there. Put into action what you've learned on this video. Go out, be more disciplined, be more grateful, and please go the extra mile in everything you do. You will thank me later.